Hey students, a very warm welcome on Ada 24/7, a government job in your pocket. As you can see on my backside that today we are going to learn about a topic, data sufficiency. As you all knows that data sufficiency is a topic which includes lots of topics, or we can say that all the complete portion of the reasoning includes in a complete a single topic, that is a data sufficiency. You can say that the coding decoding examiner can ask in your data sufficiency. Yes, of course it can ask questions from the blood relation also. It can ask from the questions from the direction sense also. It can ask questions from the setting arrangement also. It may ask from the questions from the puzzle series. Whatever the topic we are having in a reasoning, data sufficiency includes all the topics of the reasoning. So we can say that there is no such concept we have to learn for data sufficiency for getting a 5 marks from the data sufficiency, because data sufficiency provides you 5 marks, and to get these 5 marks you just remember all other topics. There is no new topic is required to learn. And one thing that is most important is data sufficiency comes in a mains examinations as well as pre of PO, and the PO are the clerical too. That means it provides us in a pre and the for the PO and mains for clerical and the PO both examination. That means it is mandate to get a 5 marks, or we can say that data sufficiency provides us a 5 marks mandately for our selection process. So it is an important chapter to do. So how you can answer the questions of the data sufficiency? Let's have a look. Data in data sufficiency, I may firstly hide myself so you may able to see all the instructions clearly. So here I am hidden. So firstly we go with the option number A. When the required questions answer is we are able to identify from the statement 1 is given and second is not required. And when we go with the B option, that means statement 2 is sufficient and 1 alone is not sufficient. We will go with the C option when both the statements are providing the answers but providing a different answers. That means either or option. D for the D we can go with for the neither nor. That means both are not sufficient. We can in shortly say that neither first or nor second is the right answer. D goes for. E for the both follows. Both are together are necessary. You can say that both follows is when both the statements are required to answer the question. That means we go with the E option. Now many of you are thinking, ma'am, what you are saying we are not able to understand. Let's have a look about the questions. As you can see in front of me that the first question is on your screen. So firstly you just have to observe it yourself and try to solve this question as soon as possible you can. Now here it is given that in this question there are 6 students in a classroom and each of them gets a different ranks. Who among them gets the highest rank? We have to identify the highest rank. So here the first statement, we solve the first statement. Firstly it is saying that we gets lower than X and R. We gets lower than X and R, but we are not confirmed X is getting higher marks or R is getting higher marks. In the second one, P gets lower marks than V. P gets lower marks than V but higher than Z. So P is lower than Z and lower than V and higher than Z. It is clear. T gets higher than R. So we can arrange here T may be X. T gets higher marks from here, or we can say that we can say that T is greater than R, and here we are having a X but we are not confirmed about it. So we are from the first conclusion, we are from the first portion of the statements, a pair of the statement, we are not able to identify who get the highest marks, X, T or R. So coming on the next one, we gets lower rank only than 3 students. There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 students are there. It is saying that we gets on lower marks only than 1, 2 and 3 students, that means we will be here. And x gets lower than r. X gets lower than r, that means we are not confirmed, but if we add first and second, we combine these two, so we can say that x gets lower than r. And it is given that x is, I can remove this particular two portions, x get lower than r, so the sequence may be conclude from like this: x gets lower than r, so we can include this like t, r, x, p and z. That means it is clear that from getting, for merging first and second, we are able to identify, so we go with the E option, that is a both follows is the right answer for this question. I hope so now you guys are able to identify the co-sequence. I am coming on the second question. I am providing you 10 seconds, so set your timer by yourself. So let's have a look who is going to answer the first. Okay, fine. I hope so now you guys are able to do the solution. Now here it is asking who is the oldest one. There it is asking who is the highest one. It's the oldest one, the same one. C is younger than only. This is the only word, is the only one person. C is younger from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Total we are having a 5 peoples. C is younger than only B and E, so that C is come here. C is younger than only B and E, so we arrange here. A is younger than B. A is younger than B. A may be here, A may be here, A may be here, and older than D. And older than D, that means A is younger than B and older than D. This sequence must be followed, but we are not still aware about this sequence, as by merging we are able to identify A and D's position, but we are not able to identify B's and E's position. So that means it is not possible by merging these two, so we go with the D option, that is neither first nor second will be follows. I hope so you all guys are having the same answer as I am. Coming on the next one, it is saying that how is social written in the code. Now this is the coding, just see and answer. Here we are having a social storm risk 2, and here again we are having storm risk 2. That means by merging these two we are able to identify the PK, PD and PN will be removed, and the right answer can be identify the code for the social. That means by merging first and second both are required, so we go with the E option will be the right answer for this question. Coming on the next one. The next one is on your screen. It is a blood relation question. It is asking from that how is D related to L. From the first sentence it is saying that L is a granddaughter of D. L is a granddaughter of D's father. D's father. So D is having a father, we don't know the gender of D, and having a granddaughter that is named L. We are not able to identify the gender of D, so how can we say the D, how is D related to L? Maybe a father, maybe a mother, or maybe a uncle, maybe a aunt also. So coming on the next one, D has one brother and D's grandfather has no granddaughter. D's father, D's grandfather, that means D's grandmother, here is it is given, D's father's father, D's grandfather is not having any granddaughter. That means D is not having any sister or not having a female in his generation. So D has no brother. D is also not having a brother. That means D is a male person by itself. So by merging first and second we are able to identify the answer. D is a father of L. That means we again go with the E option is the right answer. Now you can see that now how easy is the data sufficiency, so easy. And we can say that it's so easy to grab a 5 marks from the data sufficiency if you are having last 1 minute and you are having a 5 standing questions of data sufficiency. So it is so easy to grab one in a 1 minute, 5 marks in a 1 minute. So coming on the next question, that is asking from you guys, in 5 members of a family, how is Q related to S? How Q related to S is it asking? So by doing this, R is an unmarried brother-in-law of P. R is an unmarried brother-in-law of P. So we can arrange R is an unmarried brother-in-law of P. That means he is having a brother or sister who is married with P. P who is married to Q. P who is married to Q. Okay, fine. Still we are not having S here, so we are not able to identify the answer of this question. How is Q related to S? From the first statement. Coming on the second statement, Q is a mother of T. As it is given that Q is a mother of T, so it is cleared from here that Q is a female person of the family. Okay, fine. S has only son. S is the only son of P. S is the only son of P, so PT is a daughter. We are able to identify the relationship with all of these. So we are able to identify the relationship of Q with the S by merging, because we are having only 5 persons in the family, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So we go with the E option again is the right answer. Now a question raised in our mind, ma'am, is it possible that all the questions of data sufficiency become a E option? Yes, of course it is possible, because examiner wants to confuse you, then it provides you all the questions as a single option answer. Coming on the next one, I provide you this question as an homework question. Try to solve this question by yourself. Try to solve this question by yourself. I provide 2 questions you as an homework. If you like the questions, do hit the like button and answer the question homework questions in a comment section. And please keep sharing the link of the class and do subscribe Bankers Adda 24/7 channel. Finally, Tayari nahi rukegi. In a lockdown also, you will get a flat 25% discount on all our Mahapacks, live classes, test series, e-books, video courses, whatever the study material you require to prepare yourself. All are about to for 25% discount plus extra 5% discount by downloading app or updating our application, and you can receive a maximum discount by applying Y164 code or this 25% discount by LD25. So do visit on adda247.com for purchasing these. These are your study materials which helps you to prepare yourself. This is the complete lockdown tayari nahi rukegi. All the best to all of you guys. Bye bye. Take care. Stay at home. Stay safe. Bye bye.